Hey guys, it's Aaron here. I just want to let you know before you start listening to the podcast that we had a little bit of trouble this episode with our mics, so bear with us. And also make sure you're following us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, so that you can stay up to date on all information about the podcast. All right, let's get to it. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Just One Fern. We got a great show for you today. Later on, we have our interview with Asher, the producer. Incredible guy, incredible musician. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. It was so much fun to talk to him. But before we get to that, we have a lot of stuff to cover today. There's things that I know.
Can I start?
I want you to start. I want you to go.
Okay. I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to ask you, how sensitive do you think your microphone is?
My mic?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I can hear more than I think you want me to hear.
What are you talking about?
Before you got up, so you just right before we started recording, you got up.
Okay.
And went, I don't know where, because I went and did my own thing too. But yeah. I got back before you got back.
Yes.
And all I heard, but right before you sat down, all I heard was the toilet flush.
Yep.
And then you went, God damn. You're like, what? You're like, God damn. I don't know why. No. I can only imagine.
It was not. All right. So the goddamn had nothing to do with me going to the bathroom.
Thank God.
Oh my God. No, well, because I only went pee. So
okay.
We were talking. We were gone for 5 seconds. So I was like, I'm gonna pee before we start recording the episode. I went peed. I got up. As I was walking back, my head starting to. I was like feeling lightheaded, and that's why I went, God damn. Like I was just like,
okay.
Like that needs to stop happening before this episode.
So it wasn't like a doozy of a trip.
It wasn't like, I just went. It wasn't. I just took a deuce, and I was like,
it wasn't like, thank God I live alone, because if anyone else were here.
I loved your inflection of the goddamn, because I was.
It was that's what you did. That's what you did.
I was like, God damn.
All right, what do we got to talk about today? I had to get that out of the way.
No, I'm glad you did, because that's important to talk about.
Yeah,
everyone can relate. But yeah, okay. So first topic today is something that actually happened to me. I think I've decided I'm never going to Walmart again. I know I will eventually, but I don't want to, because every time I go in there, something weird happens, and every time it's something worse. It's never like it's always worse than the last time that you go to Walmart. And so like this specific time, also especially because it's the holidays, you never want to go to Walmart during the holidays because like the lines are backed up. One of my biggest pet peeves, Lucas, is when there are, the 10 items or less lane, and then there's the self-checkout. When people that are buying like 100 items go to those, that infuriates me, because the line is astronomically long. I don't know why it's that way, but people do that. They're like, oh, I have 100 items. I'm just going to go to self-checkout. No,
they have a giant shopping cart full of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I think, so what other, well, you said a bunch of like terrible things happened. Can you name any?
Yeah, so I mean, okay, so the reason why I bring this up is because I was at Walmart the other day, just picking up a few things. I was getting some drinks and whatever. And I was shopping for my younger cousins, right? So they're like 2 or 3 now and like 6. So I'm shopping for that.
Right place.
Yeah, so I was going to Walmart, picking up some stuff. And there was a moment when I felt really strange that I was alone in like the Barbie doll section, like I felt really weird that I was alone. Yeah. And all of a sudden,
22-year-old man?
Yes, 22-year-old man. Yeah. And so all of a sudden, this child comes out of nowhere. This young girl comes out of nowhere and comes like running over to me. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. I'm looking around for this like girl's parents. It's like, I have no idea where her parents are.
Did she say anything?
And so I started to talk to her. I was like, hi, like, what's...
Oh, no.
Are you okay? Like
and this could go so bad.
I know. And so, luckily, all right, and then the parents come around, and they're like, get back here now, or whatever. And they were telling me not to talk to their child.
They were yelling at you?
They didn't yell at me, but they were like, what are you doing? Like, don't talk to our kid. And I was like, what are you talking about? Your kid ran up to me. Like, take care of your kid. Control your child. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then there were just other things. There's other times when I just see weird things. Like, they don't even necessarily happen to me.
That's Walmart. That I see weird stuff.
You see everyone in Walmart. Every type of person ever is in that store.
Well, there are some people who would never walk into Walmart because they know what's going to be in there.
That's true. But you always get a story out of it. That's the thing.
I love Walmart for that reason. You might hate it for that reason, but I love it. And I like getting involved. I like watching, but I like getting involved more than I like watching.
Okay. So, like, if something weird is happening, you insert yourself into the situation?
If I can find a way, I will insert myself. I remember one time, I have a bunch of stories. I'll go through a couple of them.
All right, hit me with a few.
One of them was like I was walking by like an aisle. I heard like some woman was like, "Hey, like where's the macaroni and cheese?" Like I was like, "It's in this aisle." And she asked him again. Like immediately asked him again, "Where's the macaroni and cheese?" He's like, "In this aisle." Like he was annoyed that time. And then she asked him a third time. And he was like, "In aisle 7. It is in aisle 7." So then she left. I walked up to him and I asked him where the macaroni and cheese was. And he was so mad. He was so mad. But he knew he couldn't be mad at me because he didn't. Why would I know that just happened to him? He's like, "It's in I." He's like trying to hold it back. He's really trying to hold it back.
Oh my God! Of course. That's. I feel like that's something you would do. Like I could have called that from like the minute you started telling the story. Like I feel like that's your type of humor. But I would also do the same thing if I didn't already walk into the store furious. Like I feel like every time I go in there, I'm like, oh, God damn it, it's gonna happen again. Like something bad is going to happen to me, and
you're just worried.
It usually does, and that's why I kind of like I have my blinders on. I'm just going. Like I'm sprinting through that store, like taking turns and like. Everyone walks super
elbows, throwing elbows the whole time.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
So you go in, just try to get what you need and get out.
Yeah, exactly. And because everyone, I feel like I move faster than everyone. In general, in the store, everyone's kind of like, oh, maybe I should get this or I should get this. I can't do that or else I'll buy everything in the store. So I go in with a list and I know where everything is. So I just boom, 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 boom. I get everything I need. And so it was pretty, like when I went last time, it was pretty packed. And so I was like walking down the aisle and it was like people coming this way, people going that way, really packed. And the people in front of me were going so slow. And like I did it, like we were clearly going to the same aisle because like all the way down. And they kept looking back at me as if I was like following them. Like they were like, what? Why are you? And I'm like, there's nothing that I'm doing that is wrong.
You're just shopping.
They're looking at me as if I'm like following them or like stalking them or something. I'm like, I have my car in between us, first of all.
What kind of people were they?
This was just like this.
Just two regular people?
Yeah, two regular people. It was this couple, I believe. Maybe not a couple, but it was a guy and a girl. And they were walking in front of us, in front of me, just me. And I was like, why are you looking back at me? Like, this is so strange. I don't understand. And you're the one walking slow. I wish let me go around you.
Right.
An aisle. I'll pass you right now. Yeah, it's crazy.
People get freaked out about stuff for like no reason. They'll make up stories in their heads. I know I do it, but like, I feel bad. One time, I really scared a girl, and I did not mean to. It was walking back to the dorms. Like it was like night. Yeah. It was like 9 p.m. And I get it. Like it's scary out there. Like as a freshman in college, like a girl, like walking back to your dorm.
Yeah, walking back alone at night as a girl in general, like totally.
But but here's the problem. I was the guy walking behind her.
Oh no, yeah.
And I was just going back to my room, and she kept looking back. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like it is freezing outside. That's why I am walking briskly. Like I want to get home.
Yeah.
And I scared her, and she went into the quickest store she could find.
Yeah, and you could be, you could be the nicest guy in the world. They don't know. You know, you're a stranger, and they have every right to feel that.
Maybe I should have ran at her. Maybe I should have and made sure she knew I was a nice guy. Yeah. I'm nice.
Yeah.
Meet me. Grab her by the hand so she can't get away. So that way I can explain. So I can explain that I'm a nice guy, you know? Don't worry. I'm a nice guy. I'm a really nice guy.
I feel like that happens in like movies. Like that's like something that you'd see in the movies where someone's like, someone thinks they're following them. Like, no, I'm nice. Like I'm an actually nice guy. No, don't run away.
Yeah. Well, that's like the beginning of The Notebook.
Kind of.
You've seen The Notebook, right?
Yeah.
He is so creepy. He told what's the actress's name?
Rachel McAdams.
He told Rachel McAdams he would commit suicide if she wouldn't go on a date with him.
Yep.
and people are watching like, oh my god, so romantic that he would hang from a Ferris wheel. No, this guy chased you around the entire like fairgrounds.
Very weird.
Not good. Guys, don't do this. Guys, do not do this.
Not great. I'm just saying, not good at all. But I mean, like back to the whole Walmart thing. Like I usually, speaking of the mac and cheese, I always get mac and cheese when I go to Walmart. Yeah. Like that's, I feel like that's something everyone has in their house is boxed mac and cheese. It's a must. Like it is almost a last resort, like all the time. Like, yeah. Why would you
got $1 on you? Go buy a box of mac and cheese. You got $1 on you, my friend. Go buy a couple. How about go buy 4 boxes of mac and cheese? That's not gonna cost you too much.
What is that? Who is that?
No, I've been getting really into the Midwestern accent
ever since. Okay,
just recently, since we talked last. I watched Home Alone, and there's this driver, like just like a secondary character. There's this kid annoying. Listen, kid, I told you 5 times already. Quit bothering me. I just love it. I've been saying it to myself all day.
It was good. That was spot on.
Thank you.
That was really good.
He's from Chicago.
But everyone, even people in Chicago, love mac and cheese. Everyone loves mac and cheese.
Everyone loves Walmart.
This is a big question, and I think that it's something that could ruin everything or make everything better. Do you eat mac and cheese with a spoon or a fork?
I feel like I'm given a fork often, and I will always choose a spoon.
Okay, good. This is why we have a show together, because I feel like
we always agree. We're agreeing a lot.
We agree on a lot of things, and I just don't understand why people would use a fork. The only argument is
I'm at a loss.
You can
no, you can't. No, you cannot.
Really. Exactly.
Because they're this big. They're tiny little pieces of macaroni.
How do you scoop up all the cheese afterward?
Do you just eat the cheese?
No, how do you, after you're eating the bowl of mac and cheese, you have to scoop out the stuff at the bottom.
And you eat it.
Yes.
so it's just cheese
What are you thinking? Yes.
It's like crusted onto the bowl cheese.
How is it crusty? What mac and cheese are you eating that's crusty, Lucas?
I don't know. Like it's like you're eating it over the course of like a movie or something, like crusts of the.
I mean,
no. Is it like it's a sauce?
I demolish my mac and cheese in like a minute, so I.
Okay, yeah. There's no time to dry.
No, it's still gooey. Yeah.
Okay.
No, and mainly like.
No, yeah, I would eat that.
If you're also eating like maybe a homemade mac and cheese or a really like thick mac and cheese from like a restaurant, I would also use a spoon, because that's so much extra cheese that you can't eat with a fork.
Yeah. Well, the other problem with the fork is, especially with boxed mac and cheese, the macaronis are smaller than the space between the prongs on the fork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're just relying on the glue of the cheese to hold this macaroni together?
And it really is glue, though.
It is glue. I kid you not, one time in high school, we had mac and cheese served onto a tray, and we flipped it over and just held it there.
No.
It didn't even droop. It would just.
That's all right. That's not good.
Well, that's because the Michelle Obama Act. They had to they had to chock it full of vitamin D, and vitamin D could build. You know about vitamin D.
I don't know anything about vitamins. I don't even want to talk
about. We've been over this.
We're not talking about vitamins. But yeah, so I agree with you. I think that spoons are the way to go.
Yeah, no, definitely spoons.
But yes.
I was debating not telling you this, but I'm
ready.
Back on the Walmart thing. I might be part of the reason you hate Walmart. You hate it because like the weirdos feel comfortable doing their weird things in Walmart.
No, I just feel I don't like it because I'm always somehow a part of it.
Right. Well, yeah, of course you would get pulled in. You don't want to be.
Yeah,
You are the person who always gets pulled in.
Correct.
The last time I was at Walmart before the pandemic hit, I was I was dared to walk. I was walked around the store with a dog collar around my neck and a dog leash with a dog leash. and my friends would walk me up to families and they would say, "Don't worry, he doesn't bite."
What? What is wrong with you? Are you kidding me?
No. I mean, it's a joke, but yeah. I mean, like, it's real. I did it.
You're the reason I hate Walmart.
Yeah, I'm the reason. That's what I didn't. That's why I didn't want to tell you. It's my fault.
It's your fault. You're walking around with a collar on you.
I'm part of the people. I
didn't know you were into that. That's crazy.
Oh, I'm not into it, but I'm into it. It's fun. It's fun.
I like being a dog sometimes.
Treat me like a dog. See what happens.
I've always wanted to see what it's like to be a dog.
One guy laughed. That was the problem.
Don't worry, he doesn't bite.
Well, that's the problem. I thought it would be almost universally funny. Like, I thought people would like see it, like, oh, Impractical Jokers. Like, people would see, that's funny. Most people saw it, got scared, and walked the other way.
Yep.
Which is not what I wanted. I wanted people to go, he's an asshole.
I think the main problem is that you thought it was going to be universally funny. I think that is the main problem here with your thought process.
I'm way too optimistic about these things. maybe that's what other people think. They're like, oh, people will enjoy my Cookie Monster matching pajamas in Walmart. They'll enjoy them as much as I do.
Well, that's different. I would like your pajamas. I don't care what you're wearing, as long as you're wearing something.
Like what about a collar? What about a dog collar?
Nope, that's not the only. The only thing you're wearing is the collar. Really not good.
I wouldn't have lasted long.
In fact, you wouldn't have made it through the door unless you took off the clothes once you got in.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would do.
This is so bad. That's so funny. I wish honestly though, now that you've said it, I wish I was there to see it.
It's fun. It is fun. It is fun to embarrass yourself.
It's fun sometimes. Also when you're a part of it.
Yeah, and you know that it's not like somebody like getting off in Walmart. Because I'm worried that's what people thought. Like they see that and they're like, oh damn, that's probably sexual.
Oh no, this is that's what I said. I was like, oh, is he into that stuff? That's a little collar on the neck. Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. So I told you. Yeah. I don't regret it.
I don't blame you. I feel like that's a fantastic story. So why would you regret it? But okay, so like switching gears a little bit, getting into I guess a topic of it's a music industry topic, I guess.
Okay.
TikTok released an article that said this year alone, 70 of their users that started on TikTok and blew up through TikTok have signed major record label deals this year.
70?
70 different artists.
Like just
straight up from TikTok, had no following before it.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane? Like the fact that people are getting to that point.
Yeah.
Like that many of it. 70's a lot when you think about it. Like especially for record label signings, that's like 1 in a million opportunity. It's absolutely insane.
Dude, I've been hearing this everywhere. Like very recently, TikTok, the industry is just like, okay, TikTok, we're accepting it. Like it's legit.
Yeah.
Like, and people are proving it. Apparently, 70 artists got signed from it.
Yeah, 70 artists. That's so many, and
it's all super legitimate source.
They're all different genres too. Like they're all spread out. So it's just that
every genre.
Mind. Not every genre, but it's not just like pop. It's
right.
Things, but
I could see rap being.
Rap's probably huge. I know a few people that have gotten big through that. But
that's like Asher. Asher like 60K followers, right?
Yeah,
and he said, like that just jump started I guess what he's been doing recently. Like, that's amazing.
No, like in that interview that we have, and like you guys will hear later, he just the way he was describing this, I was like, it sounds so simple. as long as you have the work ethic to do it. You know, as long
Right.
as you
That guy works hard. He works hard for
he
sure.
works so hard, and it pays off, and that's absolutely incredible. But I'm not surprised. Like, I think that's the main reason I want to talk about this. Like, this is not surprising to me. I think that TikTok, like, it's crazy that that's the number. Like, I would have never believed this in a million years, but I'm not surprised, honestly, when I think about it, because it's so many people use that app. Probably billions of people now use that app.
It's gigantic.
And you have equal opportunities to do well.
Yeah. It's also, like, it's set up for music.
Yeah.
That's the, like, I'm assuming that was, like, the intent was, like, this is for sound.
Yeah.
Like, not as much as it is for video.
Yeah, and it immediately turns on when you turn on the app. Like, you open the app,
right,
and the sound is already on, so it's like it catches you off guard. You're like, oh my god, I have to watch now. It's already drawn.
And, like, it's also not. It shouldn't be surprising because, I mean, remember what happened with Vine? Like, so many Vine stars blew up and are now YouTube, like, gods.
Yeah.
Like David Dobrik, I think he started on Vine.
Yeah, I think so too.
And he
was like
he's
the original
gigantic.
vlog guy. Like, he just And he's like the king of videos and like YouTube and
absolutely
being an influencer or whatever, you know.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. But yeah, I just think it's crazy, and I good for these people. Like, that's awesome.
That's amazing. You should use every asset you have available.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%.
To use something so new. I mean, it's not new, but like something so fresh to the, I guess, mainstream. You know.
Yeah. I totally understand, like, why people have been drawn to it now, you know, because it took me a while, because originally when TikTok came out, I was like, this is so stupid. I'm like, I'm not gonna hop on. They're trying to be Vine, you know. I was a hater. I didn't want it. I did not want it. I poo-pooed it, and then once quarantine hit, like everyone else, like even Asher said, he's like, I didn't get on until quarantine hit, and I was like, me too. Like, once I hopped on, it changed. I was like, I'm seeing so many artists on here that are blowing up. Like, makes sense. This is good. This is a good thing for the industry, in my opinion. I mean, it could also be bad in the long run, but
no, I think it's a good thing. I think it's totally a good thing.
I agree.
I think anytime you have a new outlet for, like, getting yourself out there or like developing yourself as a content creator, I think that's always a good thing, especially when there's an audience for it, which TikTok gives you an audience.
Yeah, it does. It's, you know, that's how it's I'm trying to think how I'm supposed to say this, or how I want to say this. Compared to every other social media platform, it's the only one that you can reach people that don't follow you, really.
Yeah, without having to, like, pay for it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And they set it up that way. They set it up for you to be successful.
Yeah.
If you make good content, like, people blow up all the time.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, if you're not blowing up, it's because you're not putting in the work, or you're not interesting. Like, it's just one of those two things.
Right. Dude, which is why I am so upset, because I made TikTok videos for a month.
Yeah.
I made one a day, and they were for me. I wasn't, like, trying to, like, get big.
Yeah.
I thought they were very funny.
They were funny. I thought they were hilarious.
But I'm also the type of guy to walk around Walmart with and a dog. So maybe I'm not.
Your humor.
Maybe I'm not meant for the public. No, they're not ready for me. They're not ready for me yet.
Your humor.
But their kids are gonna love
it. Is gonna be Your kids are gonna love it. This is a good Back to the Future reference.
Thank you.
But yeah, your humor should not be. Maybe you should stay off TikTok and stick to Walmart. Do some live shows in Walmart. Could you imagine you walk into Walmart and you're just doing stand-up comedy?
Look at this guy over here. How you doing, Fern? How you doing, sir? Yeah. Anyway, one of my favorite parts of Walmart is mac and cheese for $1. You ever had mac and cheese for $1?
You should do, like. Could you imagine though? Like, that'd be something. I don't think has anyone ever done that. I mean, that's how the yodeling kid blew up. He just started singing in Walmart. You could just start
that's
doing
cute. I think some, like, gross
some adult,
like, postgraduate guy, like,
postgraduate white man just standing in Walmart
and yelling at people. I don't think something tells me it won't go over well.
I don't know if that would work very well. All right, let's get into our Is It Weirds for today. We have a few new ones. I'm very excited about it. last week's were great. Oh, we asked Asher. You guys will hear this. Probably the greatest answer. We asked him the Doritos question, and it's probably the greatest answer I could have asked for. It was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he went for it, and he landed. He stuck the landing. I think.
He really did. Okay, I got a few for us. The first one here is pretty short, but it's pretty funny. Let me just pull it up. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Is it weird that I wipe after I pee? I have a penis, by the way. That's my favorite part of the whole thing. Oh, by the way, I have a penis. So that's why.
I think I know the person who submitted this.
No way.
I think.
Well,
but I go. Oh, you answer first, and then I'll go. Then I'll give my little piece.
I don't think it's weird.
Do you do it?
Sometimes.
You do?
Yeah. If I'm like, especially if I'm going 1 and 2, and then I'm just sitting down, I'm like, might as well anyway.
You'll keep reaching forward until you reach.
Yeah, I
do one big.
I go
swoop.
around and then I
get it all in one.
That's exactly what I do.
Is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I mean. No, but I don't think it's strange, and that's a whole other thing with like people that think guys who pee sitting down are weird. Like, I don't think that's a strange thing at all. I don't know why people think that's weird.
I do.
Why do you think? Okay, why do you think it's weird?
If you have the power to stand,
this is a power thing,
and piss.
You and your toxic masculinity. Get off my podcast.
If you have the power to draw out your gun and draw your name in the snow, why would you not take advantage of that? And I'm
not
sorry.
in the snow. I'm in the bathroom with the door closed.
Fair enough. Okay. I think I get why people say it. Like, it is a more submissive position.
You're right.
In masculinity terms, to like sit versus stand,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think there is no shame. I get it. It's probably more comfortable. It's certainly more accurate.
That's for sure. That's the thing. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to have to wipe up after. So like, if I miss a little bit, I don't have to clean that up right now.
Do you have to wipe up a lot?
No, but I'm saying if that happens, I'm like,
oh yeah. Because, well, that's very nice of you, Aaron. I don't think most guys wipe up.
That's the thing. I don't feel like most guys are that considerate.
Most public bathrooms I've been in have.
I feel like
yellow
I'm an ideal
stains.
citizen. I feel like I'm the ideal citizen.
You're a perfect person, Aaron.
No flaws.
No flaws on
except
you.
for that I maybe sometimes wipe after I pee.
Which, you know what? Here's what I will concede a bit. I don't wipe. Okay. I don't wipe because I'm like, yeah, I'm a guy. I can be dirty when I want to be.
Okay.
It's okay, but it is dirty. It is a dirty thing that I don't wipe. I'll shake, and I'm like, that's good enough. But I spray the bathroom when I do that, and I pretend, and I tell myself I don't. But like, think about it. If you think about it. If you shake after you pee, it's not just going down.
No.
It's going up, to the right, into your oatmeal. Assuming it's the morning.
You brought your oatmeal into the bathroom?
I gotta save time, Aaron. I'm a busy guy.
You're a busy guy. What are you doing? You had to go sledding today. Lucas went sledding today. We gotta talk about that.
I went sledding.
So what? You got up, you peed, and with your oatmeal, you're like, I gotta get this done because I gotta go sledding right now. And
yeah.
You ate
and I didn't have any room. Oatmeal. I didn't have any room, so I put the oatmeal on the seat.
Also, the fact that you're even eating oatmeal is disgusting.
You don't like oatmeal?
No.
I love oatmeal.
I can't stand
it's mushy and good.
You're eating mush.
It's like accepting that you're eating mushy cereal and like being okay with it.
No. I thought you hated mushy cereal. We could
I do.
That.
Well, that's not. Well, that's the thing. It's like, are you eating cereal or are you eating oatmeal? Make up your mind.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, no, that makes sense. I agree with you on that, but I still think oatmeal is absolutely disgusting.
You've had like maple brown sugar oatmeal and you don't like it?
I think this is the reason why I don't like it. I think it's because my mom had it she still does, every single morning. So I'd wake up to go to school, right?
That's too
and
much.
when I woke up to go to school, I would sorry, hold on. I'm trying to There we go. I would wake up to go to school. What is happening?
Yeah, you're like every other frame now.
Hold on, my computer is freaking out.
Dude, it's like we're in the club and there's a strobe light on, and I see like.
All right, so my mom makes it every morning. So when I was a kid, getting ready for school, I would come downstairs and it would smell like oatmeal. And so I learned the thought of waking up early and being nauseous. I associate that with oatmeal. So
wait, are you saying you'd be nauseous?
When I wake up in the morning,
unrelated?
when I wake up in the morning,
You're nauseous?
I've always felt like, no, I don't feel hungry. And like my mom would make me eat.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
For breakfast. Like she'd make me have breakfast before going to school. But I wouldn't be hungry.
And it would be oatmeal.
And it would usually be oatmeal. And so I'd be like, this is disgusting. I don't want to eat this. And then I stopped eating it, but she would still eat it. So the smell of oatmeal, it just makes me sick. Like even just smelling it.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I would hate that.
Yeah.
I would be so against oatmeal at that point.
Yeah.
I like it though. But I hadn't had oatmeal. You won't believe this. I hadn't had oatmeal till I was like sophomore in college.
Okay, that's probably different then.
Yeah. So I was like, what is this new exciting food?
Oatmeal,
How exotic. How
so
exotic for me to be trying this.
But anyway, so you went sledding today? After you peed into your oatmeal?
Yeah. Well, I actually didn't have oatmeal because I made that part up. I hope you're not mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay. But
I can't be mad at anything because now I know that Walmart story, so I don't. I don't think I can.
Fair enough. I did go tubing today. Not sledding. I went specifically tubing.
That's better.
And I popped a tube.
No.
Yeah.
By how? By jumping on it?
How else? My mom said, "Don't jump on the tube. It is too old. You will pop it." And I'm like, that's no fun.
Mom, I'm 22. I know what the hell I'm doing.
I'm not gonna pop the tube. Yeah. Yeah, pop.
Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's gone.
Did you like pop it and then just go, well, I guess we're done?
Oh, we had another one.
Oh,
with my girlfriend. She brought a kid-sized tube, so we used that.
Not as fun.
It was better. It was. Honestly, the one that popped was terrible. It was gigantic and meant for the water.
Oh well, no shit. That's gonna be terrible if it's meant for the water.
I don't know. I was like, tube, snow, let's go.
I can just picture you walking into the garage and be like, that'll work.
I did that. I climbed over the lawnmower and threw ping pong table, and I'm like, this is what's gonna get me down the hill. And it didn't. It stopped me a lot.
Oh no, I miss sledding, man. When I go home, I'm gonna sled.
Yeah. Do you have any snow? Because you're further
Here,
south than me.
No, not right now. It snowed like for one day, and it didn't.
Oh, yeah, we got like 1.5 feet.
Yeah.
Like 2 days ago. Did you hear?
Yeah. Oh, I heard, because everyone talks about it when it snows. So,
yeah. You can't escape it.
Yeah.
All the Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
Look
at the first snow. It's Christmas.
Look how original.
My caption is better than yours.
Yeah, that is the game they play.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta come up with a caption. It's like, I don't know, just post the freaking picture.
Which Mariah Carey Christmas song lyric will I post today?
All right. They took I Don't Want a Lot for Christmas. They took You Just One Thing I Need. I'm gonna go.
Are there more than one?
No, I'm just listing the lyrics.
Oh, it's the same song.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's another thing I didn't learn about until I was much older. That song. My parents, somehow we only played oldies, so I hadn't heard the Mariah Carey Christmas song until I was in high school.
I feel like you have to try to not hear that song.
Isn't that insane? Now that I know, I hear it everywhere. It's like the main song that gets played. And I hated it at first. Believe that. I did not like it. Because I was like, who is this trying to come into the old Christmas classics and like and like pretend that that's good. And I'm wrong. She's great. She's amazing.
I can't believe you didn't.
I didn't know it.
That's insane to me.
I mean, I probably heard it, but like didn't recognize it.
Okay, that makes sense.
At some point, but I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But it upset me because I'm like, well, I know I'm a music guy. I know all music, and if I don't know it, it's no good.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean,
Which
and you're
is
still
wrong.
that way, right? That's how you are. That's exactly how I am. All right, let's move on to the next one. We got one more for today.
Mhm.
All right. This one has a little bit of a story to it. So, is it weird for some... Oh, this is about someone else. So this is someone putting this in for someone else. Is it weird for someone to speak another language when they are blackout drunk? They have drank a lot, are clearly intoxicated, but are speaking a language they're making up. Not Spanish, not something that is like Pig Latin or slurred English, genuinely a new language. For example, one time we were talking in math equations. 4.5 plus 2.5 is probably 8.5. Not sure if there is underlying meaning, but has anyone heard of this before?
No,
I've never heard of this before.
I've never.
I've heard of someone speaking a different language in their sleep.
Yeah, I've done that.
Is that you? Was that you?
Yeah, I one time I was told by my aunt that she woke up to me next to her bed. I was like a kid, 10 years old. Woke up to me as a kid, went out of my room, walked into her room, sat down next to her bedside, and she woke up to me playing cards. I was like passing out cards. I was handing out cards. I was going, and I would like point at somebody, but like I was talking to like three people.
Yeah.
And she woke up, watched me, and then freaked the hell out. I was like, you can't. She's like, you can't be doing that. I think she thought it was real. I think she thought I was actually talking to somebody. I was communicating.
Oh my God. So wait,
That's
were you
weird.
sleepwalking?
Yeah, I was asleep. She
That's
woke me
terrifying.
up out of it and put me back to bed.
That's absolutely terrifying. So you were speaking another language.
I was speaking another language. I was speaking in tongues.
Wow. So I guess maybe.
But it's blackout drunk. I don't think I've.
I don't know, because if you can do that, right? If that happens to you,
Maybe I would do that.
maybe that might happen to you.
I hope not. Actually, I hope that'd be funny. I think that'd be really somebody's trying to take care of me.
But that's what they're saying. They're saying it's not.
But no, they said math equations.
They said one time it was math equations, but they said it's not Spanish, not something that is like Pig Latin or slurred English. It's just a genuinely a new language. So it's like tongues. So couldn't that also be just gibberish? Couldn't you just be not? It said not slurred English though. So I'm guessing that this person means that it's a clear language, like with articulation and inflection.
Right. And like repeated words that mean the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's not weird, but you should bring a notebook next time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like record it and hand it over to scientists because
I agree. It should be something that is studied. I don't think it's strange. I don't think it's weird, but it definitely needs to.
It's strange in an interesting way to me, not in like a you're weird.
Okay.
I kind of like that. I would love to hear it. I'm not going to try to get anybody blackout drunk to do it, but
no, that's insane. I kind of want to call this person back and be like, "Hey, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?"
Can you text them back on our app?
I think so.
I want to know more.
Okay. I'll see if I can.
I want to know more.
I'll look into it and I'll see if I can actually like message them back, or like maybe we can call them and have them like anonymously
on the
show.
I would do that.
We could do like callbacks or something. But yeah, I guess no. I guess it's not weird because if you're blackout drunk, you're not controlling it.
Right. Wait, no, that's weirder because I think it's weirder because that's the default. Like that's like.
Oh, okay.
You have no control. Where is it coming from?
That you're right. What part of your brain is working while everything else is not?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Yeah, no, I'm more confused. I'm more like I want to know more. Like I need scientists to study you, type of deal.
I need you to text them because I can't move. Okay. I can't move on from this until I know exactly what more. I need more examples. Examples.
Cool. I will message them back, and then next episode we'll talk about it and see if we get a response. All right. So that's all we got for today from us. We're going to move into our interview with Asher. Make sure you guys are sending us more Is It Weird questions on our call-in number, which is 1-315.
I'm out. I'm done.
1-315-278-1153. Make sure that you call that or text that with your Is It Weird questions, and we'll start answering them on the pod. It's going to be a great segment. So yeah, let's toss it over to Asher. Hey, Asher, what's going on, man?
Hey, good to see you guys. What's happening?
Good to see you too. Oh, you're in your studio right now?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out here.
Yeah.
So this is actually, I have, my studio is in the basement of my house. So I sleep 2 floors up from here. But yes, I'm in my studio right now.
That's amazing. Did you like compile that all yourself? Like, did you build that yourself and work on everything?
Sure, yeah, and we can talk about a little bit. I'm just going to start my capture real quick with the audio. Give me a quick second here.
Sure, yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Should be good.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, so what was the question you asked me? I had an answer.
Like,
and I can't remember.
Did you build the studio yourself, like compile everything on your own?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story, honestly, but doing the abridged version, it's we bought a house. My wife and I live here. Bought a house in 2014 when I moved from the Philly area to Connecticut, right outside New York City, where I live now, and the house had an unfinished basement where I knew I was just going to kind of throw all my like simple guitar gear, amps, drum set, all that kind of stuff. It eventually modified itself into a full-time passion career kind of thing when I realized that I could make like a control room, live room kind of thing here. And yeah, I just kind of went for it. My father-in-law is a general contractor, so he builds houses for a living. So he was actually the one that did a lot of the blueprint making. I was just kind of like, sawing 2x4s and putting up insulation, but built everything ourselves and amassed all this gear kind of ourselves. So yeah, we're pretty proud of that.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's so cool.
Awesome.
In all your videos, I always see your studio, and I just think, wow, that's just so amazing. So the fact that you built that yourself is incredible.
And I'm glad you guys get inspired by that. And what I say to people for any advice that are looking to walk a similar path is just like, plan to play the long game. Like, you're not going to be a studio owner. You're not going to be a music producer that's super successful, that has lots of clients right away, right? So it's like, if you can ratchet yourself so that your expectations are like, hey, if I do this for 3 to 5 years, like I'm going to have some traction in my community and in my industry and stuff like that, gives a great kind of like much, healthier perspective on a lot of things. But I was, a hobbyist for 4 years before I quit my job to do this full time. Right. So like, I literally was like, I was working a corporate day job and I was just like, I couldn't sit still. And like, I knew I didn't want to do this forever, but it was like, it was money coming in. I was paying off student loans at the time and all this kind of stuff. So like, similar to the long game thing that I was telling you guys about, the more you can like ratchet your goals appropriately and just like have hard work ethic in whatever career it is, it's like, you don't need an internship. It's helpful, of course, but again, you definitely don't need that.
Yeah.
Was there a moment when you were like, now's the time for me to take that step, quit my job?
When I paid off my student loans. So that was the really. So my wife and I together had $130,000 in student loans, which was like way above average, and we recognize that now. And like, looking back at it, it's like we could have probably made smarter decisions with like maybe where we went to school and like what we were thinking about in terms of what that was going to feel like when you get out of school. Like, that's something that's really hard to kind of make tangible for yourself when you've never like lived in the real world or whatever you want to call it. But as soon as that moment happened and we weren't in like a sizable amount of debt anymore, that's when I was like, okay, like, we have a little bit of extra money in our budget now. So like, what am I going to invest in? And not like, stock market invest, but like, where am I going to put my money? Do I just want to save it? Do we want to buy a house? Do we want to do like, what do we want to do? And the biggest thing that was clear to me is that like, if I could have seed money for a business that I want to start, that's where I want to invest, right? That's what I want to invest in myself and what I care about. And I'd been, a songwriter. I'd played in bands. I can tell you my story more formally from, a younger age to now. But I had been doing a lot of this stuff, moonlighting it, right? So like working, playing in a band. I played up and down the like DC to Boston circuit is like really hot because everything is like, 6 hours away from each other. You're in Albany, so you're not too far. So like, knowing that like a lot of those opportunities were around there gets, I think, a lot of people excited in this kind of like metro area. So anyway, played a lot of shows and then was like recording my friends' projects on the side for free. Like I didn't really know what I was doing too much. I had my laptop and GarageBand, and then I upgraded to Logic, and then started playing around with, you know, basic default plugins and whatever else it was, effects. And eventually that kind of, I got edified through a handful of people that were like, yo, like this is really good. Like we like this a lot. Like maybe you should think about doing this. And that was in like 2013 ish. And then just the wheels started turning then, and the wheels were always turning. And then the trigger moment was when we finished our debt payments.
That's amazing.
Right.
That's such a cool story. And I think that, so you were just talking about production, and I feel like this new era of social media and being able to connect with so many people has given musicians the opportunity to just expand and grow. And so I've seen a bunch of your TikToks. I ended up actually duetting one of them. But how do you see yourself in the like realm of social media? Like, how do you feel like it's affecting us as a musical culture?
Yeah, so many. That's the right question to ask. So first, a couple prongs to this answer. I think one, I still honestly, I feel like I'm pretty new to the whole social media experience. Like I started this business, like quit my job in 2016. And like kind of had social media at that time. Like I had the Facebook page and I had the Instagram, whatever. And I would post like maybe once a week-ish. And I felt like that's what my audience wanted. That's what I told myself, right? Like they didn't need more of that. They didn't need less of it. Like it was a good balance, right? And I think that mindset was kind of strange because I didn't have a lot of like proof to support that, I guess. So I was just kind of justifying maybe a lazier social media approach. And I didn't really start gearing myself up until early 2019. So I would only say I've been active on social media for like 2 years now. And then obviously getting on TikTok has this just incredible organic reach. Like that's really the key to everything that TikTok's about. But I mean, if it wasn't for the pandemic, honestly, I don't know if I would have even gotten on TikTok. Like it was one of those moments where I had a 2-month forced vacation, right? Like it was, the world was stopping, and you know, everybody's priorities in the beginning of 2020 were not their priorities after that moment and all that kind of stuff. So we're all kind of collectively in it together. But in that moment, like I was just like watching way too much like news television, like CNN and Fox and MSNBC and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, all right, I need to like put my energy elsewhere. Like think about like something else that I want to do. Hopped on TikTok, and I told myself I was going to have 6 weeks of just consuming it, right? Just watching what other people are doing, just seeing what the culture's like, seeing what the trends are, seeing what's popular, what's not popular, what works and what doesn't work, right? You can kind of ascertain a lot of that by just, you know, observing without creating. And then I kind of got a little bit of traction when I kind of figured out a formula of like, you got to capture people early, you have to story tell, and then you have to have some kind of call to action at the end. So anyway, figured out a couple things that kind of worked for me there. And now what I see is like TikTok is almost, it's incredibly powerful for, and I know I'm talking about one lane of social media now, but like TikTok is a very powerful engine for the music industry. And I've heard, so you guys know who Ryan Tedder is? Yes. He's a songwriter. He's a lead singer of One Republic and ghostwriter for a lot of guys. So basically he and a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, who's like Gary V, if you've heard of him too, he's like a social media guru dude. But
I got to I used to write licenses for them over like last summer. I got to do like just like short form licenses for their like syncs. So like if they had songs in movies or TV shows for a whole summer, I just wrote their licenses, so cool. Which was crazy.
Dude, that's wild. That's an awesome kind of resume attribute too.
Yeah, it was so cool because also I got to see, because that was my internship, and so I got to see all of these like songs pre-release and like all the different things that his catalog is almost to 1,000 songs. Like he's almost hit 900. He's just absolutely ridiculous. Like,
whoa.
it's crazy.
Wow.
Either way, saw Ryan and Gary have a conversation that like got advertised to me on Instagram or something like that, and I was like, "Ooh, these are like two people that I would like to hear talk to each other." So I was like, "I'm gonna watch this," and I watched it. It was like the 7 to 10 minute video or something like that.
Yeah.
And basically, what they kind of concluded together in a strange way is that what's happening on TikTok right now is really similar, and I don't know this personally, really similar to what was happening on MTV in the 80s. So, and basically what they were trying to extract is that all young people were like watching MTV in 1986, right? Like when they got home from school at 3:00, they would turn on their television and they would watch TRL or like one of those shows that had like the like call-in voting thing for your favorite artist, and then they rank and all this kind of stuff. But it was like this thing where you had the youth, the music consuming youth, all in one place. And that's kind of what we're seeing on TikTok now, is that this like music aware or consuming group of young people are all in one place, and they're kind of creating their own trends. And like you're seeing people obviously like Megan Thee Stallion and Doja Cat and a lot of people who are like really blowing up their artistry and obviously the brands.
Yeah.
So much so that like I think they're both nominated for Song of the Year in the Grammys.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's big proof. That's big proof to me that TikTok is here to stay for at least the next handful of years. Like people are finding a lane. And then what's to say about TikTok is that, like I said before, is the organic reach, which is the fact that you have this small set of creators and then this huge set of consumers, the people who just look. And because of that, TikTok has to show a bunch of like my content to a lot of people because they don't have as many videos as like an Instagram or a Snapchat to keep up with the demand for the consumption that's happening on the other side of the coin. So that being said, it's the organic reach of social media that's become a huge asset that's now provable by these Grammy nominations, I think.
That's amazing. And I think, I've never seen a platform give musicians an opportunity more than TikTok, because I feel that, you could have no music out and you could just be someone who plays your guitar in your room and writes your own music. And all of a sudden it could reach thousands of people. And that is so incredibly powerful. And I think the biggest part of it is the ability to collaborate with other people through duets, through stitches, things that they're allowing musicians to do with each other has never been done before.
For sure. And I wasn't aware of this at the time, but I guess the app was Musical.ly, right? Like that was the app that basically was TikTok before TikTok. And I honestly, I don't have too much familiarity with what Musical.ly is. But what I do understand about TikTok that I think was borrowed from Musical.ly is that, there's a scrolling sound bar at the bottom, right? So if you ever put a piece of music behind your track, you can like instantly see what that song is or what that sound is, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I think has been capitalized on already with being able to like observe trends and like see what's popular, see who's using it a lot. It's the fact that it's there labeled on every single video, right? So Instagram doesn't do that, Snapchat doesn't do that. The fact that you can see what sound it is, right?
Yeah.
Like that's our medium as musicians. We can now see it right there. So
that's so cool.
So they've made it obvious, and I think that gives a lot of extra traction. And then like exactly like you said with the duetting, like to make it collaborative for people to meet each other, like networking is something that like some people love and some people hate, right?
Yeah.
And I think the collaborative aspect of TikTok makes it less likely for you to hate it, which is a really, really strong thing.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. So speaking of duets, I want to get into your new single, King of Serotonin, just came out.
Yeah.
So I guess there are so many questions I want to ask you about it, but since we were just on the topic of duets, since I like duetted that one where you posted the original, just the music track of it, did you have like a lot of responses to that? And did you take any of them like into account when you were creating the last final product?
Yeah, so it was a blast. seeing everybody that responded to it. It was that was actually the first one that like I encouraged people to do a duet. I've literally actually got one queued up that I'm gonna submit probably tonight. I posted a TikTok earlier today and I was like, why the hell not? I have another little composition that I put together and gonna be pushing that out, but it's only gonna be like my third one that I'm pushing for a duet. The King of Serotonin, kind of that like funky riff that I made up, that was the first one I encouraged people to do. So it was awesome to see it. I think I got maybe upwards of 50, 60, 70 responses or duets from that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, tons of participation. That certainly vary across the music spectrum in terms of talent. So there are some people where it's like, you are early in your journey, and that's wonderful. Like we all have to start somewhere. That's totally normal. And then there's some just absolutely excellent ones that were just like really like profoundly inspiring. And like I had actually kind of secretly already written the melody that like I think I knew, but I wanted to throw it out there just to like see a response to it, because that's kind of almost how I see it for myself in terms of the value. It's like, if I put this out there and people are like, wow, this is awesome. Wow, this is great. Get a bunch of duets. And I'm like, okay, I should probably pursue this as a track. Right. And if people are like, oh, that's all right. Like, or like, it kind of flops, and like that happens every once in a while. No shame in that. Maybe I don't pursue that one as aggressively. So it gives me data, right? It's as long as I am creating and writing, it's a good kind of litmus test of like what's out there and what's not, or what should be out there and what should maybe not be out there.
Is that so? You mentioned earlier that you said like you were posting once a week and you thought that's what your audience wanted. So are you saying that you use lots of content or your posts and like the content you produce as like a creative bounce board?
Basically, yes. That's exactly how I see it right now. And I would not have said that before TikTok. Like that's something I've learned like through the like TikTok experience, is that I think I probably post maybe 4 or 5 times a week now, which is easier now because I have like a process that I trust and I get it. It was taking me like hours and hours and hours to create one TikTok from like when you start, it just takes a little longer, whatever. But I am always in the mood of testing, right? I want to understand like what is my lane and what is the value that I can bring to people. Is it entertainment in the form of like really interesting material and then just throw it out there and grab some duets? Or like I've got the strong educational content base too, where I'm like either doing like some kind of professional noticing in some song where I hear a specific example of maybe a music production or music theory based thing, or just like I want to break down a concept that I think is important for like young writers to consider as a tool. So so I like testing a lot of different things in the with the goal of trying to figure out what is the most valuable thing that people are looking to get from me, because I have no I think it's a strong perspective to say what kind of value can I bring you, rather than just like asking or trying to flex all the time. Like I guess I'm bored of that a little bit, and maybe a little jaded, but that's what I'd say.
No, that totally makes sense. I feel the same with because I still haven't figured out with certain social medias what my goal is, because there obviously the goal is to get your music heard. But there's also so many other things that I've seen you doing where you're teaching, you're giving so much information and knowledge that you have gained throughout your years to other musicians. And what like brought you to do that? Like what made you think like, I want to give this knowledge to other people?
Sure. Yeah. I think, why not share the lens I have, I think is the question I pose myself. And I'm not like, I have a degree in music theory and composition that's kind of like classically driven, orchestral driven, all this kind of stuff. And I know hundreds and thousands of other people on TikTok probably have a similar degree as me. So it's not like I have anything really robustly special about myself. I have a unique perspective. And I think everybody has a unique perspective. So I think there is plenty of room in the TikTok space, in social media space in general. We can extrapolate that outside of TikTok. but the fact that you internalize the understanding that I have a unique lens, that should give you some kind of confidence, I think, to say like, okay, here's what I like and here's what I am hearing. And as long as you can kind of like be self-aware and analytical about what those things are, like you guys could start, like if you got a podcast and like maybe you guys like start a playlist and just start curating some songs and put it together and just like say, hey, like here is what we like to listen to together, and like you know, you have some dialogue about why we include this and why we exclude this, but it's like it's not anything special really, it's just like what you see and what you feel. And I think I've learned that like if I feel passionate about this, there's probably somebody else that also feels that somewhere else, right? And it's just kind of about sharing it to see if the opportunity's out there to get in front of those kinds of people. So why hide that lens? So I guess I'm answering your questions with more questions. No, but I think that's probably the easiest way to go.
I totally get it. I think that, you know, there have been so many questions where I've had that I've just never asked, that some of them were like in your videos, and like I'd be like, oh my god, I've like never actually thought to ask that question, but I've had it when working on a song. And like I also wanted to ask you, so I have kind of this thing that I've always said, and because I've met a lot of musicians who are like, I need to, you know, do this on my own. I need to like make sure that I'm doing all the work. This is my track. But I've always said that you can't make it in this business by yourself. Like you have to have contacts and people that you can work with even on a song. Because through working with licensing, no songs really anymore have one writer. So like it's really very rare to see that. So I guess I wanted to get your take kind of on that statement that I usually toss around to other musicians that I meet.
Sure, yeah. And I might be I'm an exception now, but I'm also like not like wildly commercially successful, which is fine. Like I'm not like, again, I'm still like in the testing phase with a lot of my songs, is trying to like write things that I think are amazing, but then release them and see how I should market and see how I should this. But I haven't had a wild amount of commercial success, but I am the guy that does like, I write all my material. I produce all my material. I do everything. I outsource mastering to a guy in Nashville, actually, Sam Moses, who is a wonderful, wonderful, influential mastering engineer in the whole music industry space. So I can send you his handles and stuff like that later if you're interested. So I guess collaborative writing is wonderful and I enjoy it. And I've got like tomorrow morning, I'm writing with Javier Colon, which like he's not much of a name, but he's the guy who. You know Javier?
Yeah, I love his music.
He lives right down the street from me. Yeah.
That's insane. Oh my God, I love his song Gravity. That song hits so hard. I love that. Wow.
Oh, it's wild. Amazing. So I'm in a writing session with him tomorrow, and he's probably like one of the bigger named people that I write and produce for and stuff like that. I try not to share too much of it, but obviously make this public. You can do whatever the hell you want with this. But I enjoy the collaborative experience because I feel like, again, all in the name of learning things. Like I learn a ton about like myself and my own writing, like what I bring to the table. And then I'm like, especially when you have a vocalist like him who can just like ornament and decorate all over the place. And I'm just like, I can't, I'm a good singer, but I'm not a great singer. So either way, so writing with people, certainly you have the option to get to a better place, right? The sum of the parts can be greater. Sorry, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that when you put two heads together, you can make a better product than what one or the other could have done by themselves.
I was going to say, I think you're asking the wrong people what that means, because I'm not very smart. So
some of the parts is greater than the whole. I can't remember what the metaphor is.
I have no idea. Yeah, I've heard something like it, but I can't remember for the life of me. So.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
Right. So, but being collaborative likely means that like especially when people are without ego, you have this space of like, we can all throw our ideas out here and we like let the best one win. Like let the one that is the in service of the song's message the best be the choice that you make. Like that's a really wonderful way to write, and obviously only can happen with kind of a collaborative relationship kind of effort. So it's unsurprising that the commercially successful songs are the ones that often have multiple writers.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, that's something I'm hoping to become increasingly familiar with when we move to Nashville. But I'm the musician pool up here in Connecticut, especially in like a pandemic time period, it's just really hard to do a lot of this stuff. And even like Javier and I are going to be doing remote session, so it's like you can't quite vibe as well as if you're all in person and playing instruments at the same time or whatever. But you know, the demand for music I don't think has stopped, so writers are going to keep writing.
No, you're so right. But so just to get into your single a little bit, King of Serotonin, I was like, when I was listening, first of all, it grooves so hard. Like immediately your body starts to move when you're listening to it. And I actually heard a lot of like Charlie Puth influence, and a lot of like in your lyrics, I was like, these sound like John Bellion lyrics, like something that John Bellion would work on. And so like, especially in the way that you were articulating and your rhythmic patterns, and like with some parts that were more spoken word and other parts singing. So I guess like, what was your influence for the song, both musically and lyrically in terms of style?
Yeah, so I've found this lane for the Asher brand of song that is kind of like what I would call funk pop, I guess, right? Okay. Borrowing elements from funk music, like 70s, like strings and horns and like bass and drum groove that like kind of drives and carries and almost like, you know, never stops. But I mean, like you need a breather every once in a while in a song. But that whole idea of just kind of keeping the groove going and just like keep moving forward, like keep feeling that like inertia and momentum is like really fun for me right now. And it's a really interesting time, I think, for me to embrace, that kind of style, because the pandemic is kind of like, there's a lot of artists that are coming out with these like more somber, sad, introspective songs, which totally makes sense, right? Like that's we're all doing a lot of that, I'm sure. So I've got this lane of kind of like celebratory, happy, fun stuff, and I think it's almost like me sedating myself from the rest of the world, like almost like trying to be willfully ignorant that I can't like hang out with anybody and whatever. So regardless of how I kind of got to that point, I had been turned on to like, I've been listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder records recently from like the like mid 70s and whatever. So I think it comes from a handful of those places. And then I also know, and this is like, you know, maybe commercially successful here, or a commercially successful concept here, is that eventually, like suppose I keep writing this style, eventually this pandemic's going to subside. And what does that mean? Is that people are probably going to have a much bigger demand for like happier, upbeat music at that point in time. So I think I'm a little bit ahead of the curve. I'm talking to two like licensing libraries now, like one out in Denver and one in Nashville, actually, that like have actually reached out to me, or like people have found me and told the companies about me, and I've had some Zoom conversations about it, and they're saying almost exactly that, where like we want to incorporate you into the library, and we want to hustle you once we get some like exciting new commercial content that we can pitch your stuff to, because like right now, like doesn't make sense to like throw you at anybody that we're working with, but we know that we're going to have a lot of like clients and companies in the future that are going to be like, we want happy music now, we want upbeat music now, like we want to sell stuff and everybody's happy and we want to feel happy. So I think I'm a little bit ahead of that trend, but maybe I'm feel free to, you know, course correct me if I'm rambling too much. I think the original question was just kind of like that sound or that idea, like what do I like about it? I think it's just the fact that it's fun. And I want to be having fun in my life. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, it's just upbeat. It's a big dance song. Like, I really enjoy it.
Definitely. And yeah, I should say, and like, if you're interested, I've told this to a couple people who have picked out specifically the vocal stuff, and the John Bellion that's a very high compliment. Thank you for that. So either way, I created 4 vocal characters in that song. So this is how I thought about the production, right? So I wrote the song, and the song is kind of linear, right? I write lyrics and the melody, right? And then when I take it to the production process is when I'm like, okay, you know, I kind of have this spoken word subconscious. I have like the actual character of me, like who I am. I have this like small gang of like my confident inner self. and then I have this big gang of like somebody celebrating something. So I have the subconscious, the me, the small gang, and the big gang. Like that's kind of how I thought about it. And they kind of all interact with each other and poke each other's, like, you know, press each other's buttons throughout the entire song. And maybe that's, you know, too, you know, heady and philosophical of me, but I think the sentiment of the message is understood a little bit clearer, because it's like my subconscious voice is like this, oh boy, I'm tired. Like it's these like and these phrases are filtered. Like they're the EQ, like I've got a big roll off on the top and a big roll off on the bottom. So they're like truncated a little bit smaller. They're felt in a little bit smaller way. Then like me, like what I actually say. And then like when I kind of start into this like kind of like sing rap kind of thing is where it's like, if I'm feeling really confident, this is what it is. Here's the archetype.
That's awesome.
And then so either way, I think the character pieces for the vocal content I think was key to the kind of success of that song. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. I think that all the different vocal, because I did notice that I was like, these are all you know, extremely different, clearly in the EQ, but also just like the filters that you put on them. So incredibly great. Like I just think that the whole process, it came out fantastic, and it sounds awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, and I'm glad you enjoyed it too. Like I know I'm honestly this is the song I've gotten most positive feedback about too. So it's a consistent message that I'm receiving, and I've you know had projects that I've worked in before, but like people are like, I really understood this, and like that's where I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Like what I want to do is I want to keep making music where I can serve it to you in that kind of way. I want you to be able to receive the message, not just necessarily hear the awesome flashy ear candy music, but like also understand like here's what I'm saying, or here's what is going on inside my head as well. So that's great. And so I guess moving into kind of our last question for you, because we're kind of running out of time here. But so we do this segment on our show called Is It Weird, where we have people contact us and ask us questions if something that they do is weird, if something that their family does is weird. So we always answer because Lucas and I are weirdos ourselves. So I think we're pretty qualified to do Embrace the weird.
Yeah. So last episode, we already discussed this one, but we want to get your take on it. It was, is it weird that I lick all the cheese off my Doritos before eating them?
Woo! It's all right. All right. So is the implication that the Dorito is covered in like a queso?
No, it's like the powdered cheese on
Okay. Right. Got it. So the actual stuff that's on the product of the Dorito.
Correct. Yes.
Man, interesting. Okay, so let's break this apart. Okay. If you're licking this stuff off of the Dorito, what you have left afterward is just a tortilla chip.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have flavor plus tortilla chip equal Dorito.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the person Right. So if you're the person that's licking off one aspect of it, it's because you don't maybe like the textural contrast of the crunchiness of the Dorito. You're
such a producer. You're such a producer. Just the way.
Man, I'm gonna pick this apart, man.
The way you respond, I'm like, he's such a music producer. This is exactly how he would respond.
So it means that you have a high affinity for this cheese, right? So you love the cheese. You love this thing that's creating the sauce in your mouth, probably,
You're right? Yeah.
Rather than this kind of thing. So I would say you don't love Doritos. Does that make you weird though? I don't know. Is it weird?
If that's the conclusion you draw, I think it's a good question.
You're right. Yeah. But are you? So you need an answer from me, right? So
we got to give the people what they want, you know.
Let's see. Is it? No, it's not weird.
Okay.
But you don't like Doritos.
Okay. That's
what I would say.
I couldn't have thought of a better answer, honestly. Like that's incredible.
That's a neat segment too. Keep that one going.
We definitely will.
Thank you.
Lucas and I actually both said no as well. We were like, we don't think it's weird. We just think it's if anything, like we were just like maybe it would reach the weird stage if they're like sucking all the stuff off that Dorito, because then that gets a little into weird territory.
But like, and is there an implication that the tortilla chip is consumed afterward, or is it like you lick it and then throw it away?
It is
like there's some scenarios that could probably be weirder than others.
Yeah, well, it did say before eating them, so it said so they definitely
much less weird. I'm solid in my no.
Okay.
You think it's less weird to eat it afterwards? Eat a plain Dorito.
Right, because I think at that point in time, you're saying, I'm acknowledging the fact that this is a combined product, right? Like I'm not going to like lick, discard, lick, discard. That would be much closer to yes, weird.
Huh.
No,
yeah.
Because you're recognizing that it's a full Dorito product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was much weirder before I started thinking about my own habits. Like initially I was like, yeah, that's weird. Then I'm like, oh, I do this a lot, actually. Like, with, like a lot of things, like Oreos. I didn't say this last time. Ooh. Oreos, a lot of times you'll eat the filling.
Yeah.
But again, you're not throwing away the cookie, right? Because that becomes the weird part where it's like you could probably like email Oreo and just like tell them to ship you a big thing of like frosting. You really just wanted to pick out frosting. Same thing with Doritos. You could probably just get some of the powder. It'll be like, hey, like I want this. I'll pay like mega premium for it, and they'll probably send you like a 2 kilogram or 2 pound thing of just the powder or something like that. But it's the recognition of the tortilla chip or the cookie or whatever that makes it not weird.
Okay, awesome. Well, I love that answer, man. That was fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so Asher the producer, King of Serotonin, out now everywhere. Go stream it. Anything else that you want to plug right now that you got going on, or?
Nothing wild and crazy right now. I will have a Patreon coming out in January. It's the thing I'm working on now. So in the event that people, not kind of know my brand, I'm, I guess, a point person in music theory and music production on TikTok, Instagram, that kind of stuff. If you want a little bit more detail, I'll be having a Patreon launched in January for both music theory and music production.
Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, go check them out on there. We'll put all your tags below as well. Thank you for coming on. You're welcome back anytime. This has been fantastic because we still want to talk about so many more things. But yeah, we'll keep in contact. And good luck with you. Best of luck to you on your next endeavors.
Excellent. Thanks so much for having me. It was a blast being here. And yeah, we'll catch up once we might be in the same neck of the woods.
Yeah, let's do it. All righty, man.
Awesome.
We'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Bye.
Take care.